welcome back to me talking about my version of the Marauders in podcast form with Emma, finally, but guess what? She's going out of town tomorrow!
I don't see why you keep planning these things.
I'm like, we can record 2 episodes today, and then I was like only halfway through writing the next episode, and I was like, it's okay, we'll just do it tomorrow, and she's like,
listen,
so about that.
Everyone has COVID, so we're just getting out of here.
That's fair, actually. But yeah, so talk about your travels, and you let people know that you weren't unsafe, because I'm sure that they'll be concerned.
Okay, so my uncle owns a lodge in Belize, and so we decided to go there. And so we had to, oh my gosh, the COVID testing for that was stressful, especially because it was like, they had you do it like on video so they could like verify that it was like legit and
really?
stuff. Except I have like very shaky hands.
Yes, you do.
And so they were like, hold the QR code up. And so I was doing it, and they were like, we need you to stop shaking it. And I was like, I'm doing my best. But yeah, and so then that all worked out. We all tested negative, and we were able to go. And then it was super fun, because it was just us and our cousins there. And so...
like in the whole
resort thing, yeah. And it was amazing.
That's so fun.
And then, yeah, now we're back.
And now you're
and
back,
apparently
and
everyone
everybody has
else got COVID.
Yeah, my entire, all of my different friend groups, it's gone through. All my friends came back from college. I can't even see most of them because they all have COVID. It's rough. We love Omicron.
So yeah, it turns out we were safer just
yes,
not
you were much
being
safer in Belize.
where we saw no one.
Yeah, oh my gosh. So that's so fun for you though, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you're just leaving to go to the beach again.
Yeah.
Just to get out of here because we can't do anything here because everybody's sick. But yeah, so those are the fun vibes. My fun vibes are that I stayed here and I didn't get COVID, but I also didn't see anyone because I was trying not to get COVID. So, not the worst, but not the best. And yeah, I don't know, man. Christmas was fun.
Yeah, I got this Honeydukes hoodie.
Yeah, it's so
and it has
cute.
The candy.
I love it so much. My favorite thing about Christmas is that somebody else can pay for J.K. Rowling merch and I don't have to feel guilty about it, because I don't like to support that.
My friend just got this off Etsy.
Oh, yes. If it's not J.K. Rowling, it's fantastic. So I got some, Harry Potter, some socks that say, Dobby is a free elf and stuff like that, and I'm like, this was pretty epic, not gonna lie. So it's pretty fun. Yeah. One other minor update is that my grandma keeps on asking me for the name of this podcast, not for herself, for, for her granddaughter. And I'm like, what if I don't want to give that? She's like, but she loves Harry Potter. And I'm like, okay. So I know I told you that this was a Harry Potter podcast, but it's really not. And I'm like, there's no way of knowing if she would like this. And so my grandma's all offended. I won't give her the name, but I'm like, Grandma, she's not gonna like it. And I don't want her. I don't know, this poor, innocent, regular Harry Potter fan. I'm like, you can't, it's not the same thing. So I don't know what to do about that. But
just do it.
I'm not going to send you the podcast. Oh, my word. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have very many other updates. So we can just swagger on in.
Yeah, I think that's the mood.
I think we should just emotional support dog our way.
This emotional support dog kicked me out of my seat.
Yes, she does do that. Okay, yeah. I don't know. This is a very fun episode. I have so much fun writing this episode.
Okay.
I'm just very ready for it. So, it's 1 week before Christmas break. Okay? It's Friday. So, Lily and James have magical theory on Fridays. It's their last class. It's kind of in more of the nighttime situation. And Lily and James are they've officially reached friendship. And it's so nice,
Good
and
for
I
them.
love it, and I'm like, yes, let's go. And they're like talking, laughing, having a good time.
Oh
They
my
had
gosh.
such a good time in magical theory. They learned like the theory behind like casting emotion changing spells. So like they did like cheering charms to demonstrate and stuff like that. And
So
everybody's
they're
just
like,
they're all like, this is so good. No, but even after it's worn off, like, you know, they're just still having such a good time. Everything's great. And Lily's like, man, James's stupid jokes are kind of actually funny, and he's not pulling them to be stupid because he thinks that they're actually, like, top tier
Yeah,
jokes here.
of
And she's like,
course.
and that's what makes them funnier. Yeah, anyway. So then they walk out of Magical Theory, and Bradley's waiting for Lily. Because, you know, they're dating. He sees
only it
Brad,
was
he sees
Brad.
Brad comes out of Magical Theory, and it's like, oh.
it's like the...
It's the Spider-Man. Oh my gosh. What was I saying? So Bradley's out there, and James is like trying. He's trying so hard to be like,
Oh, James.
go, Bradley. You know, he's
He
trying.
walks
so-
out and he's just like...
he's like, hey, Bradley. No, but he's trying his hardest, and so you know. He says to Lily, like, in a joking way, there's a Quidditch match tomorrow. So he's like, oh, bye, Lily. You know, if you want to make it to the Quidditch match tomorrow, you better avoid the mistletoe or else, you know, you're never going to come back to the room. Like, trying to make it funny, but it's, like, so awkward. And she's like, thanks, James.
He's like, cool.
And
Thanks for the tip.
And Bradley's like, why would you do this? And so then he's kind of angry at James. And he like glares at him, and then James gets all touchy because he's like, I was just trying to be nice. It's so stupid. But anyway, Bradley's like, well, you know, you may not be used to it, but, you know, Lily wouldn't miss this Quidditch match for the world because she actually likes watching me play and stuff. I made a TikTok about why Lily didn't go to the first couple Quidditch matches. I failed to mention it in the previous episodes, but we're just going to pretend that that's a thing, and if you want to learn more, go and watch that TikTok. But anyway.
Let me just...
Emma, no, we don't have time.
I don't know.
It was because she's, like, scared of heights but didn't want to
Okay.
admit it and stuff, yeah. It's not really important, but it was just... But he's like, yeah, she actually likes watching me play, so, like, she's gonna show up anyway. And James is like, well,
Wow.
thanks for that. I may be her, like, friend, but, like, it's fine, whatever. And so Lily is like, guys, just, like, chill out, like... We just walked out of class. Can we calm down? And anyway.
She's like, time for a cheering charm.
Just casts a cheering charm on himself and walks away. James is an unbothered king. No, but so you know, she and Bradley go off together. They're having, you know, a nice little fun time. So then Lily, she's been wondering. So she's like, she finally asks the question of like, so are like we like together, like officially? Like is this like an official situation here? And he's like,
He's like...
he just No, but he's like, well, I'm pretty sure something like big has to happen in order for you can't just like say we're dating and then it's like that casual. Like there's gotta be a big moment here. And she's like a big ask situation, and he's like, yeah, something like that. And she's like, okay, well, when am I supposed to hypothetically? When would I be expecting that? And he's like, I don't know. Tomorrow just seems like it's gonna be a pretty good day with the Quidditch match and stuff, you know. And she's like, yeah, okay, with the Quidditch match. And then he's like, you just really gotta make sure that you're there, okay? Like for me, like this is gonna be great. Not for James.
He's like, when James shows up...
It's like you can watch the game up until James scores, and then you have to leave. Oh my gosh. No, but yeah, so she's pretty excited, not gonna lie. But anyway, so back at the dorms, Lily's very excited, and she's like way too loud. It's like the dead of night.
She's like, guys!
No, but she doesn't say anything, but she just like comes in and just like trips over
like,
something. And Dorcas, Marlene, and Bonnie are all still up, but they're, like, talking in, like, in one of their beds with, like, a silencing charm or whatever. And their other girls are, like, asleep. And so they pull her in, and they're like, what the heck? And she's like, guys, I think I'm gonna have a boyfriend tomorrow. And they're like, okay. Wow, good for you. And she's, like, very excited. Crazy. And they're like, okay, but that's kind of fun. And so they stay up and they talk about it and stuff. And they also talk about the fact that he and James literally hate each other. And she's like, yeah, I'm really not sure what to do about that. But I mean, like, I hated James. So, like...
She's like, we all go through that phase. And the rest of them are like, no.
We've always loved James. It's like everybody goes through that. But they're like, you know, maybe it'll take Bradley a bit. But they're like, okay, if you say so. And just to mention... Marlene did talk to Lily about the whole, like, 4th year Bradley being kind of a jerk thing. Yeah. And then she talked to Bradley, and he was like, I just still feel so super bad about that. Like, it was my friends, like, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. Okay. And I just, yeah, so like, that's happened. But, yeah, so it's at this point when Lily realizes for the first time in a very long time that she misses Mary. Because, like, Mary, like, knew... like, that Lily had never really had, like, a boyfriend before, and, like, she would know how big of a deal this is, like, Lily had gone out with people, but, like, when Snape's your best friend, I'd say it's pretty hard to get a serious boyfriend. Can you imagine? Just, like, Snape. He's just, like, just always there. Third wheeling on every date. Oh my gosh. It would be painful. But she's like, yeah, now something's, like, actually happening. And so, you know, Lily's decided that she's got to check in on Mary at some point. Maybe not this episode. I'm going to give you a spoiler. It doesn't happen this episode. But, like, you know, at some point. At some point. Okay. But anyway, we gotta go to the big game. You know?
Of course.
So the next day... you know, James gets up. He, like, has, like, a bunch of stupid rituals on game days. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure now that he's team captain, he makes everybody go on his morning run on game day. He, like, gets up Marlene. She's like, I'm not doing this. And he's like, we're going. We gotta run, y'all. For the team. Probably, like, also, like, I don't know, plays obnoxiously loud music.
Yeah. No, he plays Chariots of Fire.
like not while he's running, like he's like brushing his teeth.
Yes. It's just on loop.
That's probably fair. But yeah, the others are mad at him every time this happens, but it's like, okay. So the common room, buzzing, having a good time. You know, Ravenclaw is actually, like, a good team. And so, like, Gryffindors and Ravenclaws, like, everybody's excited.
You say this like there's, like, so many teams, it's hard to keep track.
No,
like,
listen. Listen. I didn't mean it like that. I just mean, like, this year they're evenly matched. And so, and they're probably both, like,
I don't know
the top
if you've heard
ones.
of this little team
called Ravenclaw. No, but it's like they're pretty well matched at this point, and so it's like gonna be a good game. It's gonna like determine how everybody feels going into break. It's like it's you know, it's pretty exciting.
Is Brad on the team?
Yes, Bradley is the keeper.
No.
Yes, he is.
No, Brad.
Oh, Brad. Oh. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They got Bradley. They got Bradley being the keeper. Show. They got Bradley being the keeper and Brad being
the entire team is just variations of the name Bradley.
They just have Lee.
Yeah.
They have Bray. Brad. Oh my word. Okay, anyway. So everything's all fun. All fun and games. Until Lily walks down the stairs in a Ravenclaw sweater. And it's Bradley's Ravenclaw sweater that he gave to her the night before.
She's in Gryffindor.
I know.
She knows everyone on the team. She's roommates with Marlene, who invited her to her room.
Marlene already heard about this last night. Marlene's accepted this. She's like, I can't believe you, but like, okay. Again, Lily does not care about Quidditch. She has no like house pride beyond being a prefect. And so she just She just walks downstairs and James just wants to die. He's like,
yeah.
He's like, you're the worst person I've ever met in my entire life. And even Remus is like, Lily, that's just cruel.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And she's like, guys, I'm sorry, but like, I gotta show my support today. And Sirius is like, weren't you the one who told us like a while ago, like, you're not even dating this man yet? Like, what is happening here? And she's like, listen.
You helped put this team together, Lily.
No, but she's gone to other games. This isn't the first game of the year, but like, anyway. So she's like, listen, but guys, after the game, I'm like pretty sure it's gonna change, and like, how weird would it be if I'm like in a Gryffindor, like
in your own house colors? How crazy would that be, Lily?
She's gotta show support for Bradley, okay? She's gotta.
Gryffindor.
She's gotta. And so anyway, but Peter's like, no, yeah, this makes sense. I do the same for a girl, and they're like, Peter. He's like, no, this is good. But Remus is like, you know what? It's fine. It's your decision. But Sirius and James are like, you're a traitor, dishonor. You're no longer our friend anymore. Who's Lily? I've never heard of Lily Evans. Who is she? No idea. But you know, they're kind of still joking, and they're like, okay, whatever. Okay. But anyway. So anyway, then they're about to go down to breakfast, and like the whole team is like gonna go in a unit because you know James is like, we're a team. But before they do
have like a choreographed dance when they like burst open the doors. Just
the high kicks.
Yeah,
you're probably right. You know, but before they go down, James like pulls her aside and he's like, okay, listen, as mad as I am about the sweater, like, I want you to know, like, I don't hate Bradley, and, like, it's okay, and, like, I hope you know, like, I'm joking, and, like, you know, he's trying to be, like, although I did hate Bradley for, like, the first little bit, like, I'm trying,
he's like, if you guys are gonna, 24 hours ago, yeah, I would have killed him.
No, but he's like, but now that you guys are, like, dating, like, yeah, I'll chill out, like, I don't care, you know, but he's trying his best, okay, he wants to be a respective friend, and he's just like, I don't want to cause any more drama, and so, but Lily's, like, impressed, and she's like, oh, thanks, she's like, yeah, I know, it's, like, a joke and everything, like, it's okay, I'm not bothered by it or anything, and she's like, and I know he's, like, still kind of angry at you, but, like, he'll get over it, like, I got over it, it'll be fine.
Just like, that took, like, 5
years. James is like, okay, sure, yeah, it's gonna be great. She's like, but yeah, thanks, it means a lot, you know? She's like, you know, good luck out there today. And he's like, really? And she's like, yeah, I mean,
she's like, no.
She's like, I still hope you lose. I hope you don't lose miserably anymore. And he's like, you're just a booty. I just dislike you, and I hate you. So it's a good time, everything's great. This is called it falls apart. Are we ready for this scene? I like to name my scenes sometimes. Anyway, so Lily goes to meet Bradley.
Okay.
Did you ever watch the TikTok about Bradley? Did you ever figure out anything about him?
I know, no.
Okay, cool. Just want to know if you knew what was coming. But anyway, so Lily goes to meet Bradley. You know, she's having a grand old time. And so they like agreed to like meet in this hallway like before they like go down, and so like everybody else is like down, and so they're just like gonna meet beforehand and stuff. And so then she hears him, she's like walking up to the hallway, and she hears him like talking with one of his friends, and then she hears her own name, and so she like stops, and she's like, ooh, like, what's he saying about me? Like, and well, no, it wasn't him, it was his friend. His friend is named Felix. I don't know, it was just somebody else in Ravenclaw. But he says something like, honestly, I have no idea how you're getting away with this. I mean, Lily is smart. And Bradley's like, yeah, with academics, but she's absolutely clueless about everything else, isn't she? And Lily's like, hold up. Hold up, what's happening? And he keeps on going. Like, she's absolutely head over heels for me. And I mean, it's so easy. All I have to do is say that she's pretty, and she just, like, loses all sense of, like, anything. I swear, she could walk in on me and Adriana and just still think that, like, it's whatever. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, Emma. Actually, it's not. We're gonna hate Bradley, but it's okay.
Gosh.
And so, and Felix just, like, laughs, and he's like, yeah, but, like, do you really think you're gonna, like, be able to keep this going even when Lily wants to, like, go public? And Bradley's like, honestly, I'm not sure that Adriana would care very much, and if she does, I'll just pull, like, but, like, I care about you so much, Adriana, I could never leave you, I don't know what to do. And Felix laughs again, and Lily's like, what the what? And so, and then freaking Bradley keeps on going. He goes, anyway, the stupidest thing Lily has ever done is think that I'd be interested in her. I mean, really, she is like such a prude. All she wants to do is talk constantly. No wonder she's only friends with creeps. They're the only ones that listen to her. And then Felix is like, however do you manage it? And he's like, sometimes I think maybe if I just, like, put a silencing charm on her and just let her go on, I wonder if she'll notice or whatever.
What?
And then Felix is like, okay, why, like, and this is all worth it. Why again? Like, why are you even doing this? He's like, let me think. Like, the 40 other girls who suddenly want to be with me now that I'm, like, in her popular group? Hello? Like, I don't even need to be friends with them, and they just, like, think I'm part of the group. Like, did you see the note that, like, Venus left for me in Defense Against the Dark Arts the other day? Like, maybe I'll be able to get her involved as well. And his friend's like, dude, like, what the heck is happening? He's like, all I have to do is put up with Lily, and she, like, looks pretty, or else I would never bother. And so Lily's done.
Yeah.
Lily's done. So Lily just, like, doesn't even know what to do. Like, she can't freaking process this. Because Bradley's a jerk, and I hate this man.
She should have worn Gryffindor colors, that's all I'm saying.
Well, just you wait. Okay, so, like, very quietly, she, like, goes, and, like, leaves. She just leaves. She's like, I can't, like, go at him. I can't do anything. So she just, like, leaves, and she finds, like, a prefect bathroom, and it's, like, empty, and so then she just, like, breaks down, and it's, like, really sad or whatever. But it takes her all of 3 minutes to stop being sad and start being angry. Because she just hated how he was like, oh my gosh, she's head over heels with me. Like, he thinks that, like, he's better than me. She's like, I settled for him. He's not even that cute. Like, I don't even, what the heck? The more she thinks about this, the more angry she gets. She's like, I'm out of his league. What is he doing?
Yeah, you tell him, Lily.
And so... she's like, oh my gosh, and he thinks I'm just, like, pining for him because of his looks, like, what the heck? Ugh. And so she pulls herself together and just, like, wipes the tears off of her face and just
she's like cheering charm.
She just smiles, like, the whole rest of the day. No, but then she dramatically leaves the bathroom. Yeah. And now we're gonna go to breakfast.
Oh, dang.
Do you need to mentally recover?
Still, like, breakfast.
Yeah, do you need to, like, mentally recover real quick?
Wow.
This is all, like, before anything. This is very fast. All right. Okay, so James is, you know, having breakfast with, like, the team and his friends. He's trying not to be nervous, or at least he's trying not to show it. Now that he's, like, captain, he gets, like, really nervous for games, but, like, he doesn't try and, like, show it at all and everything. And the only person who, like, even knows is, like, Sirius, who's just, like, is helpful by just, like, being really loud, like, the whole time. He's like, whoa, guys, we ready for the game? Let's go. I'm banned from Quidditch. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so James is like, I just, like, need a friggin' distraction, and luckily he gets it when Lily walks in to the hall, to the Great Hall with, like, full Gryffindor gear.
She's
and, like,
got,
has,
like, the Luna's hat.
Yeah, she's got, like, a huge freaking hat or whatever. And she, like, has, like, red and gold lipstick and, a cheek painted, like, with the Gryffindor lion or whatever. Like, nobody knows how she did this because, like, there was nobody left in the common room at this point. But yeah, so James is like,
who is this?
What is what? Why? Hello? But then she, like, starts going towards them, so he, like, pulls himself together and he's like,
hey.
All right, Evan. He's like, oh, did Bradley say, like, you can support your own team now or whatever? And she's like, don't freaking talk about Bradley anymore. And he's like, alrighty then. Okay. And the others are like, ooh, alright then. And Remus is like, no problem. Like, what happened? She's like, I don't want to talk about it. Not now. Like, just stop. And so then, like, the whole table hears this, and they're, like, all, like, quiet and sort of, not the whole table, but, like, the team and, like, everybody around them. And they're all just, like, quiet. And she's like, why are we not talking now? Like, please just talk. Like, everybody's just staring at her. They're like, you sweet Quidditch. And so they go back and they're like, yeah, let's, the game. Yeah, all right. It's very bad. But Remus, who's, like, sitting next to her, like, squeezes her hand and is like, hey, like, you got this. I don't know what's it, but you got it. You know, you're gonna get through it. And she's like, all right, thanks. And so, you know, things continue on for a bit and everything, until Sirius, who's across the table and can see the door, is like, don't look now, but, sorry, he who must not be named just walked in. And Lily's like, Voldemort? And he's like, no.
He's like, yeah.
The person you told us to not talk about. And it looks like he's looking for you. And, yeah, he sees you. He's walking towards you. What do we do? And, like, James, like, grabs his wand. And everybody's like, what happens? And she's like, act normal, okay? We're just don't do anything weird. And then in the split second, Bradley shows up and he's like, oh, why aren't you wearing the Ravenclaw sweater I gave you, huh? And she turns around, she's like angry, like looking at them, and then she turns around to see him and she's like, oh,
I gotta like, support my own house.
So bubbly, and she's like, sorry, I just figured, you know, I'd root for the winning team or whatever. Like, yes. The others laugh and stuff, and she's like laughing. It's just like a fun little joke, and the others are like, what is happening? We're like, yeah. And so Bradley is like confused, but he's like, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. We'll see, I guess. And she's like,
he like glances over the rest of them, and they're all just like,
looking around, like, no, but but she's like, yeah, I think we will see. And he's like, kind of. Like, he's weirded out. He's like, okay, I thought we were gonna, like, meet before breakfast and stuff. And she's like, oh, shoot, sorry, you know, things just got crazy this morning, and I totally forgot. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, don't worry about it. I'll see you after, you know. And she's like, yeah, maybe. And he's like, okay. Maybe? And so then he, like, goes in for, like, you know, a little peck. And she goes, no.
No.
And he's like, he's just like, stop. But she's just looking like chill and unbothered. And he's like, you don't want to mess up the Gryffindor lipstick? Okay. She's like, no, I just don't feel like kissing you right now. And he's like, oh, and she smiles and is like, good luck.
Dang.
And then, you know, he leaves and stuff. And she turns around, and James is like, I'm really glad that we're not on your bad side anymore. And she's like, I don't want to talk about it. And it's, like, immediately, like, back to being angry. And, like, yeah, it's, oh my God. It's a good time. You know, James is like, I don't want to get on your bad side anymore. And she just looks him dead in the eyes, and she's like, I need you to absolutely destroy him in this game. And he's like, okay, she's like, I don't care who wins, but he needs to lose. Because he's a chaser. You know, James is a chaser and Bradley's a keeper. And so she's like, I just need him to be embarrassed. And James is like, all right. And suddenly he's not nervous for the game anymore. Because he's like, I got this. I can make one person look bad. That's fine. So, they're playing opposing positions. Things get crazy real fast. Like, they walk out onto the pitch, and, you know, James shakes hand with the other team captain, and just, like, but, like, the whole time is just looking at Bradley. He's just looking at Bradley while he's shaking hands with the other person who's the captain. And Bradley's, like, trying to, like, looking intimidating or something. And, like, when he, like, tries to sneer at him, James just grins. Like, he's like, oh, you're gonna go down so bad. And, oh my gosh. But yeah, when James has, like, a purpose and, like, he has a reason to do something, he's gonna do it all the way. And so, yeah, so, like, as soon as they take off, James takes possession of the quaffle and scores a point before Bradley could, like, even make it to the goal post.
Yes, James.
And his other team members are like, oh, shoot, like, we got energy today. Let's go. And so they all played, like, really, really well. Marlene did not let a single point get past her the entire time. The only points that Ravenclaw scored were from, like, penalty shots, and it was only, like, I don't remember what I said at the end, like, 4. Like, they only had, like, 40 points or something by the end. But yeah, so, like, one highlight that happened was, like, Gryffindor gained possession by, like, another chaser, and Marina took the opportunity to throw a bludger directly towards Bradley and, like, almost knocked him off his broom just as Alexia passed it to James, and then James scored again. And it's just, like, everything like that is happening. And it's, like, the best part is that, like, James wasn't even, like, being a ball hog or whatever. The others just knew that, like, he was in a mood, and so they always passed it to him.
Hey, if it's working!
Because he's just, like, angry.
If he scored
going
enough goals, you might as well keep giving it to him.
I know, so that just, like, keeps on happening. So, the Gryffindors got up by 150 points, and they were only, like, 40 minutes in. They were literally scoring, like, every 2 minutes. Like, just going off. And Ravenclaw just has no idea what hit them. Because, again, they're a good team. But, like, nobody knew what was happening. So, yeah, at this point, they're, like, regardless of who gets the snitch, they're gonna win. But then Gryffindors got the snitch anyway. And so the final score was, like, 330 to 40. Yes. And, like, no one had ever heard the Gryffindors, like, cheer that loud.
Yeah.
Like, McGonagall's, like, living it up. She's like, let's go.
Yes.
And, like, Lily's real excited. Nobody's ever seen Lily be excited about Quidditch before. So, like, she like, runs onto the field, like, with everybody else that's friends with them and just, like, tackles him with a hug, practically. He doesn't actually fall because she's, like, tiny and he's James. But she's like, oh my gosh, you were incredible. And he's like, I couldn't have done it without you, man. And Marlene's, like, coming up and hugging them, too, and they're all just, like, staying together and talking, and James is like, Marlene, you did so good. Marlene, your speech, it was so good. Oh, like, wasn't even anything. It was just, like, improv. Oh, my gosh, why can't you just take the freaking compliment?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm so sorry, that just pops into my head.
Sybil did not like that joke.
Everything's great, and Marlene's like, yeah, I mean, it was easier for me to play, too, like, knowing that, like, we're gonna hate.
Come over here.
No, but she's like, that's true. But she's like, you know, she's like, it's much easier when, like, you know, you hate somebody and you want to get back at them. And James is like, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty great. And then they're like, oh, speak of the devil. And then Lily gets really angry again. And she's like, is he, like, coming up? And Marlene's like, oh, yeah, he's, like, going to try and come up and say something to you. And she's like, I don't know if I can keep it together. And Marlene's like, okay, who says you have to? And she's like, I have to, like, be better than him. Like, I can't, like, just get angry. Like, I'm not about to do that right now. And she's like, okay, then let's just leave. And, like, yeah. And James is like, yeah, you guys just leave and I'll, like, chill here. Like, I got the rest of the team and stuff to deal with. And he's like, but he's going to try and talk to me then. So, like, what do I say to him? And everyone, you know, everybody's, like, around them. And he's like, Bradley's trying to, like, get through to them and stuff because, like, he's angry. Before she can think, Lily's like, James, I'm about to do something that's going to make him angry, and you can't get any ideas from it. And he's like, wait, aren't you leaving? Like, you guys need to go. He's about to get here. And she's like, but he's like, but how am I supposed to act around him? And she's like, James, is he looking at us? And he's like, yeah. And she just kisses him on the cheek and, like, leaves, like, the mark of, like, red and gold from her lipstick. And he's like, what? And she's like, don't get any ideas. And then she leaves. And he's like, okay, I don't even have an idea of what's happening. I don't know how I can get any more ideas. This poor man. And so they just leave him very confused and, like, very happy and just like, okay, so that just happened. And then Bradley goes up and punches him in the face. Poor James. So that's fun. All right. But anyway, so the next week was interesting for several reasons. First of all, they have exams. It's the last week before.
Yeah, right.
Second of all, Lily and Bradley, like, broke up. And it was kind of funny because, like, obviously, like, James went to the hospital wing to, like, fix his nose.
Yeah, I feel
And
like,
then, like,
James was the one who got hurt most in this breakup.
Oh, he definitely did. Yeah. Like, physically.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, James was in the hospital wing for a little bit, and then, like, Bradley, like, gets in trouble with Flitwick and everything, and then afterwards, like, he's, like, going, back to, like, kind of, he's, like, waiting outside the hospital wing for her, and so then she leaves, and he's like, okay, what the heck was that? And she's like, no, what the heck was, it's you, you're the problem. But yeah, she's like, Bradley, like, no, what are you talking about? You totally overreacted. You freaking punched James. And he's like, okay, no, I thought we were a thing. And you're, like, going around, like, kissing James Potter. She's like, I kissed him on the cheek. Calm down. Second of all, how is this any different from you and Adriana? And he's like, and he's like, well, I don't, she's like, okay, because I was under the impression that, like, this was not, like, you know, an official thing. I didn't think you wanted it to be, you know, I was just chilling here, like, I'm being, like, a casual person, because I thought that you were doing the same thing. And Bradley's just like, what, he's like, so actually, listen, I'm so sorry, he's like, listen, I'm sorry, I guess I just thought, I mean, since we were gonna go to Slughorn's party together, I mean, I thought that we were, like, more of a thing, and, like, I've broken up with Adriana. I just want to be with you, Lily. And she's like, oh, Bradley, I forgot to tell you. I've decided to take James to Slughorn's party. And Bradley's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I just figured, you know, I'd go with someone that, you know, actually likes to listen to what I have to say. And then he's like, oh, shoot, because, like, he knows that she must have heard something. And she just, like, walks back into the hospital wing as if she hadn't just, like, walked out of it. Because she's like, I gotta make an exit.
Like, all right, gotta go.
But, you know, Madame Pomfrey gets the message, and she, like, closes the door. She's like, James can't have any more visitors.
She's like, what can you do?
She's like, I can't, you know, too many people here, Bradley. So Lily walks back in, and James is like,
how'd it go?
So I'm going to Slughorn's party. And she's like, you heard all that? He's like, yeah, I did. Since when are we going to Slughorn's party together? And she's like, I mean, like, I guess we are now. And Remus just, you know, they're all kind of there. And Remus just starts laughing hysterically. Because he's like, what the heck? And James is like, that's fair. And James is like, okay. Like, because Lily's like, I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. I guess you don't have to go. We can, like, do, like, a fake breakup thing. Like, I don't know, man. Gosh. But I just had to tell him that. Because it was going to make him really angry. And he's like, you know what? He's like, fine. He's like, okay, I'll go. But, like, I'm not down with this whole thing. We gotta, like, I'm going to that and that's it. You know, and he's like, I'm really not down with this whole thing. And she's like,
I don't want to get punched again.
And she's like, you think I am down with this whole thing? He's like, okay, listen, you're the one who kissed me.
He's like, you didn't ask me any of this.
He's like, and then I got punched because of it. But yeah, so they gotta work through that a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
And she's like, I'm really sorry about this. He's like, it's fine. But, like, it's whatever, and, like, it's really good that they are, like, truly friends now, because, like, this would not have worked out a couple months ago, which is why Remus just keeps on laughing anytime they talk about the dance, because he's like, you last year, you would have died. It's so good. Yeah, like, the whole week, Remus, anytime anybody brings it up, he just starts laughing.
As he should.
Like, you need to pull this together. But yeah, so, like, kind of, like, the whole school is, like, kind of aware, you know, later, because, like, a bunch of people saw that, people hear that, like, you know, then Bradley, like, spread that she was going to the party with him, and then it's like, oh, shoot. And so, like, Slughorn's party is, like, you know, his Christmas party that he has at, like, the end of every year for all the slug
For all the slugs.
For all the slugs. Friday is the day of the party. It's like the day before they leave. You know, and so first crazy thing that happens that day is Lily heard that Bradley was taking Adriana. And so Lily decides to just make sure that she's aware of everything.
He's like, hey, Adriana.
And so she's like, hey, so, like, I don't know. Like, if you're down with this, like, whatever. But, like, this is what's happening. And she's like, no, I'm not down with this. And so then she breaks up with Bradley, and then Bradley doesn't have a date to the thing. And then James begins to panic because even though they've been talking about it all, like, week, he never, like, checked to see if he had any dress clothes, and he just didn't.
He just shows up in his footage uniform.
I should have made that happen, but instead. So he, like, sends, like, a panicked owl to his mom.
He's like, Mom,
I need nice clothes. And he's like, Lily, what are you wearing? And she's like, red. He's like, we're gonna be matching.
Of course.
And also, they still have exams this day.
Oh my god.
So they're also, like, taking their last couple exams. Yeah, so then the night arrives. James's clothes do not. Not yet. And so, like, it's, like, started. It, like, starts at 7. And he's like, it's okay, we'll be fashionably late. And she's like, I don't want to be fashionably late. People are gonna think I'm not showing up. And he's like, it's okay. And so, like, finally, like, his clothes get there. And he's like, we got this. Like, all 4 of the boys, like, help him get dressed. Like, he's, like, a prince or something.
Go.
They're like, let's do this. And also, okay, I feel like this is maybe, I don't know. I want to talk about James being, like, from Indian descent, because I just need, like, everybody expects him to show up in, like, traditional wizarding robes, and then it's, like, the full-on, like, it's like, something, how do I even describe this? I have an idea of what it is in my head, but it's, like, traditional Indian, like, nice clothing, but, like, magic robes. And so it just looks really sick, like, really awesome. And it has red embellishments because he made sure to ask for those.
He's like, Mom, and it has to match.
He's like, we've got to do this. It's really important. And he just, like, is feeling really great, and he doesn't have, like, he just looks, like, so good, and she's like, oh, shoot. And so then they go, and it's in the Great Hall. Everything looks fantastic, and James turns into the frickin' life of the party, and it's fantastic. Yeah. And Bradley is very jealous. The episode's getting a little bit long, so, you know, I'll try and sum up things that happen here a little bit. But anyway, so the most important thing is that Lily and James genuinely have, like, a great time. Like, it's so much fun, you know. They're the last people to leave. Yeah. Like, Slughorn, like, loves James. I think James, like, low-key gets invited to join the Slug Club that night. But he's like
sucks at potions. He's like, dude, I, like, failed your class.
But he's like, but you're great and everything. So he's like, but I think he is, like, actually invited. But his whole thing is like, I just really don't want to. That sounds super lame. And so he just never shows up to any of the meetings.
But he like puts it on his resume. He's like, I was in the Slug Club, and they're like, you went to a Christmas party.
Yeah, so he's like besties with everybody, and everything. And, like, you know, just everything's great.
And Regulus is there.
Regulus is
like
there.
Just
yeah, we should mention that. Regulus is there. Regulus is just he's Regulus, man. He's sitting there. Probably doesn't dance.
He's probably
just
like laughing his head off at all this.
He's sitting back and enjoying all of this.
Because I imagine he knows what's going on.
Well, yeah, like, he keeps up with Sirius's group of friends, but he's like, oh my gosh. So yeah. But yeah, so anyway, so, you know, they're, like, the last ones to leave, and, like, they're, like, walking back, and, like, James is, like, holding Lily's heels because, like, she's given up on them and everything, and it's, like, a fun little thing. They're laughing the entire way back, and they're talking about, like, Bradley's face when they danced that one time. They're, like, losing their minds. And then, anyway, finally, they get back. And, you know, as they're saying goodnight, Lily starts to go up, like, the girls' stairs. But then James was like, whoa, hold on a second. I still got your shoes. And so, but then she, like, turns around, but then they're, like, way too close, you know, because she's, like, on the bottom step or whatever. And he's right there. And they just keep on looking at each other. And they're like, you know, thinking about this. And Lily is like, am I about to kiss this man? Like, what's about to happen here? Because neither of them are looking away. They're just, like, standing there, like, right here. And then it might just be like she was excited from the party or something like that. But she leans in, and he just, like, puts the shoes in her hand, turns around, and just, like, leaves. And he's like, good night, Lily. And neither of them ever talk about that moment, like, ever again. And that's the end of the
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I really liked writing this one. This one was pretty dope.
That was a good one.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not a fan of Bradley.
What? I thought he was gonna be a fan favorite. Alrighty, so that's pretty much the vibes. Everybody has COVID except for Snuffles. Snuffles does not have COVID.
Well,
I made sure. I swabbed her. No, but one thing that I didn't get for Christmas, but I think I might buy for myself is one of those doggy ancestry things. Have you ever heard of those? They're like the Ancestry.com tests except for dogs. And so you can tell, like, if, like, you're not sure what your dog is, like, in regards to breeds, you can, like, do it and it'll show you kind of the percentages. And so I'm wondering if I should do that with her because I know she's, like, probably half pit, but we can't tell what else she's mixed with. We can't figure it out. We've looked up, like, all of these things of, like, what are the mixes and stuff, and we're like, okay, pit mixed with this and that. And she just doesn't look like any of them. And we're like, what are you, girly? Because she kind of looks like a lab pit mix, but then not. It's confusing. You got a confusing face. I should probably close up the episode. I'm just talking at this point, which is, like, not great.
the timer went off. But...
Oh, shoot. Anyway. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Hopefully things actually work out this time. Yeah. And, like, I have footage and audio and, like, everything's good. And Emma. So, like, that'll work out. We're gonna try and record the next one. It's, like, a Christmassy episode, so I feel like maybe it's just a bonus episode. I don't think it's very long, so we'll record that. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. See you next time. Bye!
Is the Arby's sign, like, uppercase or lowercase?
Arby's? It's uppercase.
Okay.
The A is. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you think it wasn't?
That was what she said. She said, why is Arby's lowercase in Utah?
That makes me so uncomfortable. Utah, what's going on? Are you okay? Who am I kidding? Utah's never okay.